So I put leaves in my pathways, and this is how I make my soil every year. Today I'm screening it to make seedling starts for the spring. So this is what we've been walking on for throughout the year. Scrape out the big stuff, and then I have the sifter here, and I grab some of the soil to get out the big particles. You can do it by hand like this, but shaking it goes really fast. Maybe I shouldn't shake the camera. Sorry about that. And then this I just dump nearby to put back. And I fill up some more. I try to leave any plants because the roots have exudates which stimulate the soil. I've been reading a lot about creating soil without killing grasses and how the natural fertility of the soil comes from the fungus, the fungi, and the exudates that come from the plant roots to stimulate the soil into creating the bacteria it needs to grab all the nutrients and the minerals. Look how much that disappeared just from shaking it. So anyway, this is the stuff that I put in my little pots. These pots. And having this wheelbarrow or something, even a cardboard box to grab all the soil, really makes it much easier. You can shake it directly over the pots, and I was doing that for a long time, but a lot of it gets caught in the cracks and goes back down into the soil. But the other thing you can do is just stack a whole bunch of them in here at one time, and then just grab all your soil. Ran out of pots, but just dump it in really fast because you're just catching the same stuff, anything that goes in between. And then after this, I don't plant in this directly. Sometimes it might be a little hydrophobic. This stuff I don't think would be hydrophobic, but that means the water won't really absorb into the soil really well. So I have trays in my greenhouse, which I'll show you, and I don't top water them, but I water them from the bottom in trays. Let's go look at that. Yeah, I guess I'll show you my pathway on the way to my greenhouse. It's just full of leaves every day. I walk on this stuff. It's nice and soft. And I'm making soil the whole time. So here's the end of my compost pathway. This is what the native soil was like before, and you just saw what the soil's like now. So going into my greenhouse. So this morning I created all these trays of soil, and actually the ones with tags I had done the week before. I filled them with soil like these, and you'll notice there's water at the bottom. So the water gets wicked up into these pots. The reason I don't water on top is because you want to soak the soil so that it absorbs water and it accepts water from then on if it's hydrophobic. And this allows you to put a lot of water in, and you won't get any mold growth or algae on the tops because it's coming from the bottom. You might have to put a little bit of clean water in the top to get the wicking action going so that it comes up from the bottom. But from then on for a week, I just keep water in here about half an inch high so that it soaks up and gets all those bacteria rejuvenated, ready to support the seed in the plant. And also what this does, if you do it a couple weeks before you put the seeds in, like I did over here, this I did about 3 weeks ago when I put seeds in today, but it will pre-sprout any weeds or any tomato seeds that happen to be in there from last year. Because if you are making tags and you want to have a certain type of tomato in each one, you don't want any volunteers because it could be any kind of tomato. So you pre-sprout everything, any seed that is in there, so you won't have any weeds later. You sprout it, then right before you plant, you just pluck out all the weeds. And this stuff, I don't have very many weeds. It's all from leaves, so that's good. But then, see, here's some water. I use these old trays, lasagna trays, anything that'll hold water. So when I water this whole tray, I usually keep one pot empty and I just water in there. The pot keeps the sun off the water, keeps it from evaporating, and also keeps algae from growing in this bottom. You can get algae growth on the top if you water from the top when there's nothing really growing in there because you don't have any shade from your plants yet. So I just water in this. I have a little open one on each of these. Like here, this is the one I water. And then I plant the seeds. And that's going to be this spring's garden. A lot of plants I give away to friends. Everybody that saves pots for me. And here's some others. I still have Tabasco plant going. I got lemon trees. These did really well in the greenhouse. Here's a lemon tree too. It's got thorns. What else? It makes watering a lot faster too. When you have plant growth, you just water at the bottom and they all get water. You don't want to put too much water when it's just soil and just the little seeds. You want to just make it so it's damp on top. You don't want soggy, slush, but keeps it moist. And once the plants grow, you'll have to put in a lot more water because they will evaporate all the water that's in the bottom of these pans. So going back to the garden, this is a garden 2.0 right here. There's my water tanks. I'm putting fencing all around here. So I'm going to more than triple the amount of garden space I have. I'm going to plant pumpkins, trees, bigger sprawling things, hopefully some perennial grains. I've been reading about perennials, how they increase root mass, plant mass, rather than create seeds. And with those seeds, with that plant mass, it'll add to this soil. Let's look at the soil here. This is not white like that other soil I was walking in near the greenhouse, but it's not as deep as the soil I'm harvesting right now. But I'm thinking I'm just going to put as many leaves out here as I can, pile them up high. And I'm getting all my leaves from landscaper that brings them to me. And otherwise I'd be hauling them every time I see them in the neighborhoods, which I do a lot anyway. And I'll pile these up high and they'll compost down. But what I'm doing here is these are those curbs I've been telling you guys about in the other videos. If you don't have curbs, you can also use granite countertop scraps. That's what I got these for. And you can see over here I've got one piece of rebar holding up a whole panel of granite, and I just put more soil and going up higher and higher just to create more and more soil. So hopefully this will be very productive land going all the way back. I've been putting up a deer fence. Also have to put in a hog fence at the bottom horizontally so that hogs can't dig under or roll under. And then another chicken fence at the bottom also. So it's like building 3 fences in one. Just a lot of work, but I'm almost done. This fence goes all the way to around my greenhouse and back to my garden. So that's a construction area right now, but here I'm just harvesting my pathways. And I'm going to fill up many more these pots for friends and my own self. Create a lot of transplants for the summer.